What would happen if you could sell without anyone noticing you're doing it? Selling without seeming like a salesperson is the most valuable superpower in the world of finance. People hate being sold to, but they love to buy. The key is to generate desire without triggering their defenses. Many sellers fail because they apply pressure. Pressure generates rejection, but genuine connection creates action. Selling without seeming like you're selling means understanding it's about helping, not forcing. Your goal isn't to close, it's to open. Open a conversation, a possibility, a transformation. When you focus on solving a real problem, selling becomes a natural consequence. You don't need to be the most extroverted to sell. You need to be the most empathetic, the best listener. People don't buy products, they buy solutions to emotions they haven't resolved. Fear, insecurity, the desire to belong or grow. These drive decisions more than product features. Don't present yourself as someone who wants to sell. Present yourself as someone who's been through the same. The sale begins when the other person feels understood, not when you start talking. Stop using phrases like, "I want to sell you this." Instead, say, "This might help you achieve what you're looking for." Make your client feel like they found the solution, not that they were convinced. Stories sell more than data. Emotion sells more than logic. Create a narrative the client can live in their mind, and they will reach the decision on their own. Language matters. One word can turn an aggressive phrase into a kind invitation. Avoid sounding like a brochure. Speak like someone who cares, not like someone who memorizes. Nothing is more powerful than a well-asked question. Ask questions that make the client reflect. When the client reaches the conclusion on their own, the decision is stronger and faster. Don't talk about how good you are. Let others say it for you. External validation is always more effective. Show proof, testimonials, results. But do it with humility, not arrogance. Don't try to convince. Try to spark curiosity. A curious mind opens up. A pressured mind shuts down. When you sell from desire, you connect. When you sell from fear, you push away. Don't just talk about benefits. Talk about experiences. Don't explain what it is. Explain how it feels to have it. Silent selling is the most effective. The kind where there's no need to say, "Buy," only to say, "Observe." Your personal brand is your best sales strategy. What you do when you're not selling also sells. Every post you share, every message you send, every interaction you have builds or destroys trust. Be the person you'd trust to solve your problem. That congruence shows in every word. Don't prepare rigid scripts. Prepare structures you can adapt naturally to every conversation. You don't need to push when you know how to guide. The best seller is the one who walks beside, not the one who pushes through. There are no objections, only unresolved doubts. Every time someone says no, they're really saying, "I don't trust yet." Earning trust is a process, not a shortcut. Every clear step brings you closer to a pressure-free sale. When you prioritize serving over selling, the sale happens on its own. The client feels understood, not chased. Authentic selling doesn't feel like a transaction. It feels like a confident decision. Nothing dissolves an objection faster than a personal story told with honesty. When you speak from experience instead of technique, the other person lowers their defenses. Stop thinking about closing and start thinking about opening possibilities for the other person. Be strategic with your energy. Don't sell with anxiety, sell with purpose. Enthusiasm sells more than any technical argument. But real enthusiasm, not forced. The best way to respond to an objection is to show you've helped someone with the same fear. Don't offer what you think they want. Discover what they truly need and tailor your offer. Selling isn't a battle. It's a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you let the other lead. Don't take a no as rejection. Take it as information to better understand the client. Be patient, but not passive. Act with intention, not desperation. The client can always sense if you're more interested in their money than in their well-being. Take care of your intentions because they show in your voice, gestures, and words. Being a seller isn't a role. It's a way of relating through value, not need. Don't hide your offer's weaknesses. Acknowledge them with maturity and focus on what it truly solves. Sometimes being honest about what you can't offer creates more sales than exaggerating what you can. The client doesn't want a product. They want a result. They want a new emotional state. When you describe how they'll feel after having it, you help them visualize and take action. Make the client feel like they're in control. When they feel free to choose, they decide faster. Never manipulate. Influence ethically. Manipulation destroys long-term relationships. A good seller builds a reputation. A bad one only seeks commissions. When you sell with a long-term mindset, every conversation becomes an investment. Trust can't be rushed. It's earned step by step by keeping every promise. Manage your timing. Selling without seeming like you're selling also means knowing when to step back gracefully. Follow-up isn't harassment when done with respect and genuine interest. An unclosed sale isn't wasted time if you planted the right seed. In a world full of noise, clarity and honesty are the best tools to connect. Don't try to shine brighter than the client. Make them feel like the protagonist of their own change. The most powerful sale happens when the client feels you just accompanied them to an inevitable decision. You don't need to raise your voice to influence. Sometimes a pause, a look, or a story is more powerful than an argument. Well-used silence can create more impact than a long explanation. Learn not to fill it with anxiety. Don't respond to an objection with defense. Respond with curiosity. That opens the door to the real issue. Thank every objection. It means there's interest, but lack of clarity. And you can provide that clarity. Turn every conversation into a chance to learn, not just to sell. Even if the sale doesn't close, the respect and listening you offered can generate future referrals. The best advertisement is still a satisfied client who speaks well of you without being asked. Deliver more value than expected. That always comes back multiplied, in ways you can't imagine. Don't measure your success only in sales. Measure how many people you helped make better decisions. Talk less about yourself and more about the client. What matters isn't your story but how you connect with theirs. Not everyone is ready to buy today. But if you planted well, tomorrow they'll think of you. Be consistent in your values, even if it means letting go of a sale that doesn't align with you. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not around. Make sure it's something you're proud of. Don't sell to make a living. Sell to transform lives. Impact is what gives meaning to the work. Sometimes the greatest sales move is telling someone it's not what they need right now. That honesty builds trust and opens long-term doors that a forced sale never could. Don't treat everyone the same. Personalize your approach. Every person deserves to feel truly heard. The best script is the one born from the moment, from active listening and sincere empathy. Prepare, but don't cling to the plan. Human connection is above any technique. Don't sell only with words. Sell with your example, your results, and your presence. People follow those who live what they preach. Your consistency is your best argument. When your product or service is born from a personal story, the message becomes powerful. Make selling feel like serving. Let every conversation leave the other person better than you found them. That not only generates sales, it generates respect, admiration, and loyalty. Abundance in business begins when you stop thinking only about winning and start thinking about winning together. Selling without seeming like you're selling is mastering the art of influencing with honesty, value, and presence. If you achieve this, you won't just sell more, you'll build relationships that open unexpected doors. And in the end, the sale is not the goal. It's the result of having positively impacted someone's life. Subscribe so you can learn how to change your mind and your money to build wealth.